Hi everyone, on today's video, 10 gift ideas for the film photography enthusiast. So this video is not sponsored, but all the products showcased in this video come from Amazon. I decided to select a few items on this website because it makes it easier for anyone buying them. But if you can find it to your local store, well, feel free to buy them wherever you want. This is, once again, not a sponsored video, but just for information purposes only. Let's get on with it. So the first suggestion is these graduated cylinders and beakers. If you are preparing yourself your chemistry, which you should, these are going to be really helpful. Plus, they are made of plastic, they're going to be durable, and they won't cost a fortune for shipment. So that's the first idea I should really recommend. The blower is also one of the must-haves for any photographer these days, even if you are doing digital. I cleaned DSLR sensors with something like this. But for film photography, it's pretty useful if you want to blow away dust from a negative before putting it inside the enlarger or the film scanner. This one, I know, is on the expensive side, but I had this specific brand. Mine is 15 years old and it's still going strong, so it's pretty durable. And anyway, that's the second must-have. If the blower is not good enough, this type of cloth made by Ilford, called the anti-staticum, is pretty useful to remove the streaks onto a negative, removing the dust and also removing static electricity. So that way you won't get into any trouble if you want to print the negative and you don't want to spend hours trying to remove any dust spots onto your print. Keep in mind that this thing is specially coated for negatives and it's not suited for cleaning up lenses or any optical things. That's the next item. These are lens wipe or wet wipes or lens cleaning wipes, whatever you want to call them. You do not imagine how many of these I used over the years. They're perfect to clean up the lenses, the glass of your film scanner, and they're pretty efficient even if you are wearing glasses. So that's a must-have again for any photographer. The thermometer. Well, if you process your film yourself, which you should, a thermometer is pretty useful to check the temperature precisely. This one is an alcohol thermometer. It's pretty accurate and it's gonna be very handy preparing your solutions if you want to dissolve like a D76 or just using your film developer or fixer and make sure that the temperature is the correct one. So that's a must-have. The film picker, like this, is probably the best tool you want to get for any film photography experience. If you have a camera that rewinds the film totally inside the canister, you might want to retrieve the leader just to load it into a developing tank. That tool is a God-given thing, honestly. I've been using this for at least 10 years, it's still going strong. There are other brands and other models. This one is an older model by Ilford. It works on the same principle. You also have these, which have a metallic strip. They work just fine. And finally you have these ones. They work similarly, but not as good as the one I present to you. So it's definitely a must-have for any film photography. The film picker is probably one of the best tools available. Cotton gloves are also pretty useful if you want to handle your negatives in the enlarger or the film scanner. It will avoid you to put some nasty fingerprints onto your negatives or your final prints. You don't want that, so cotton gloves, that's a must. This one is a little bit more expensive. This is a collapsible changing room, or a collapsible darkroom. Well, small size obviously. It's ideal if you want to load the film into a developing tank, or you have to do something in total darkness. Sometimes you don't have the luxury to get a darkroom you can use for that kind of purposes. So this is pretty useful. I've got one for many years And I can tell you, I don't spend 1 week without using them. Either loading sheet film or anything. It's pretty useful item, and I should recommend you getting one. Although it's a little bit more expensive, but if you're careful using it, you're gonna keep it for years. So it's a little bit more expensive, but it's a good investment. Using a magnifier to look at your proof prints or even your negatives might be very useful. Back in my youth, these things were pretty expensive, but thanks to modern day manufacturing technology, these things are close to nothing. It's a pretty useful item for doing things, especially if your eyesight is going away, like mine. And last but not least, the wash aid. The wash aid is a product made by Ilford. Kodak has something similar called the Hypo Cleaner, and there is also the Orbit Bath. What is it? Well, when you are processing a film or prints, paper prints, you need to wash them after fixing, and it uses a lot of water, clean water. Wash aid allows you to reduce the amount of water you're going to use to wash and to clean your prints and your film. So it's good for your wallet because water ain't free, and it's also good for the environment. So in the end, it's a win-win situation. The wash aid is probably one of the best things that I have discovered along those years in film photography. It saves money and saves the planet. And that's the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it, that you learned something, and that I gave you some ideas if you want to buy a gift for anyone interested into film photography. Anyway, don't forget to subscribe, leave a like or a comment if you want, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.